Hi guys, this is Tina back in for another quick story. Oh my gosh, the story that I'm going to tell you today is just crazy. Um, I just want to warn you. And also, first of all, I want to say thank you to all my new subscribers. That's awesome. That's cool. I mean, or views and watches and all that stuff. Like, God, I'm so appreciative of it. I know it's a new channel. It's not a new channel. I think it's been about 4 months, but like I'm learning as I go and I'm really enjoying the time and interacting with you guys. So thank you so much. Whatever you want to do again, like subscribe, whatever. I would really like to subscribe, but whatever. So the story that I'm going to tell you today is so gruesome that I'm going to give you a small disclosure. If you're sensitive, it's best that you just click away from this video because this is gruesome. This is about a woman killer in Australia. I'm sure this case is notorious for those in Australia. Australia, just so that you know, I do see that there's a small percentage of people that shows on my YouTube that I do have some viewers there. So, oh my gosh, you guys, this is a crazy story. I'm sure you've heard it. It's about Catherine Mary Knight. This is so crazy. So, Catherine Mary Knight was a very violent woman. Let's just start like that. Okay, so she had a crazy past. She grew up in a very violent. It seems that like even her real father to her previous stepfather, who ended up being her stepfather, was also a drinker and violent. And supposedly, according to this article, Catherine Knight may have been S8 up until the age of 11. I'm not sure if that's her account or if that's the actual proven story. So as she grew, she became more and more violent, and so she ends up marrying her first husband. His name is called David Kellett, and a couple of times, like she ends up having 4 children with him. She has boys, and she her when her temper goes off, like her temper goes off. It's said that when they went to get married, the mother is called Barbara, the mother of Catherine Knight. Her name is Barbara. So Barbara had warned him, like, don't, whatever you do, don't piss her off, she will kill you. And I guess he didn't really take that seriously. I'm not really sure. Okay, so obviously he had 4 children with her, or children with her, and so he experienced through the marriage. He experienced a lot of domestic violence. She would just go off. It said that she hit him over the head with like a frying pan, literally burned his clothes. Like she would just do some crazy stuff. So then he ended up finding another woman and moving on. She then goes on and moves on to another man, gets pregnant by another man, and then ends up having an affair and meeting a man called John Price. So she meets John Price, and John Price is well aware of her background, as according to this article, that she's aware of his background. However, I mean, he is aware of her background, but and that she's violent, but he's willing to, have like an on and off relationship with her. He attempts to break it off a few times because of her violent outbursts, but for whatever reason, he ends up taking her back, somehow, some way. She ends up getting into his house after some type of breakup, or I don't know, some type of argument. And the argument supposedly was over intimacy. I guess hadn't been enough intimacy. Maybe this is why these men were willing to keep taking her back. Maybe she had some skill. I mean, I'm sorry, I don't mean to laugh, but I don't understand why you would continue to take back. There must be something there that would allow you to continue to be abused, or it's just crazy. So, in any event, what happens is she ends up getting upset with him, and the autopsy shows that he was stabbed 37 times. But somehow the police arrived before she was able to, so she ends up murdering him. And what ends up happening is that the police show up just before the full act is committed. So while before they got married, Mary was known around as to be very violent. She had been in jail, incarcerated before for assaulting other people, said to have just slashed another woman. with a knife. She was obsessed with knives because it was like a job that she had had. She also, had served time, so she learned like that type of thing, like sewing, and she had some type of obsession with knives. And then it said that she later on became to be some type of meat cutter. Okay, so now you understand where I'm going here. If you're not from Australia, then I don't know if anyone's heard this story. Like to me, this is mind-boggling, crazy. So anyway, they have their altercation. She kills him, and then she goes on to skin him. So she skins him, and then she gets parts of his skin, and I mean, this sounds like something from like Silence of one of those movies that you would see, and then like hangs the skin or something like that. And then she dismembers and then ultimately decapitates and boils John Price's head. Yeah, this is crazy. So gets even more crazy, to tell you the truth. Like this Australia, like, oh my God, I'm taken back. Like, wow, I hadn't heard this before. So she goes on, after she does all that, she dismembers him and she decides that she's going to cook dinner for her children. And she deliberately goes out and writes names and cards and sets a table with, I'm not sure if what the letter said, but it's obviously very well thought out. So when the police arrived, it said that when they arrived, that the head of John Price was boiling on the stove along with potatoes and carrots, and she was getting ready to prepare dinner for her children. In the meantime, the police also said that there were parts of the remains that were left in the front yard from this article that I read, and that apparently wasn't able to be consumed. Like, wow, this is just like this is beyond anything you can imagine. It seems like something you would see in a movie. To me, the last thing that I've heard about something like this gruesome, skinning, decapitating, cooking, like that's like a Dahmer stuff or something like that, like wow, this is committed by a woman. Also, I wanted to mention that this is the first woman that was sentenced to life in prison in Australia. So I don't think they have the death penalty in Australia. So she is the first woman to be sentenced to life in prison. So it was just I don't want to say incredible, but it is incredible, and not in a positive sense. It's incredible that, like, wow, that someone like really did this. This is not a movie. This is for real. Like she was ready to serve her children their father for dinner. Like, how crazy is that? Like, wow. I mean, that's just serious problems. Anyway, it said that she is still in prison to this day. She was born in 1955, as I said, as a twin. So she's living the rest of her life out in prison, I guess, in Australia. But I just wanted to go ahead and, make sure that I give all the information. I will make sure that I leave the links down below to this case, and also to anything further that you might need, because she's had a lot of other relationships. Like I said, most of the men report her violence, like crazy violence, like almost to the point of murdering them, but they didn't leave her. And I think it was because, obviously, because when you hear that she's upset about they only had intimacy 3 times, that means that she was probably very active and obviously very violent. So, if the male wasn't performing, or maybe she felt threatened, or she felt jealousy, or competitive. I mean, it could have been anything that set this woman off. Like, she's just notorious. Notorious. So, anyway, Australia, like, wow, I'm taken back by that. I hope you guys do see this video. I hope you do. I don't want to say enjoy the content, because it's so gruesome that it's kind of hard to enjoy, but at the same time, it's like, wow, you have to. Oh, it's crazy. It's just too crazy to me. Anyway, just if you want to, you can follow me on Facebook at Tina Torbo, or you can just like or subscribe to my videos. If you like, you can check out the rest of the library. I always try to make sure that I leave all the links to any story that I tell so that I give full credit to the source of where I find the information or read the information. I spend a lot of time reading and just looking, and then sometimes I have cases in my head that like I've been thinking about, and so that's why I kind of started this channel. Well, the channel sparked from a man that had beaten a woman on an online date. That's what sparked this whole thing. And so since then, I've just been continuously making videos, and it seems like it's going well. So I do appreciate all the support. I do appreciate all the views, likes, subscribes. So in any event, I hope to see you guys soon in the next video, and take care of yourselves until then, okay?